Hey, it's great to be at IPW and also have the Connect Thrive Summit both together. Really a great opportunity to expand the learning, the attraction, the number of people that we can get coming here. And I think that is really a huge plus. And we're going to keep doing that each year. And I think we can grow this thing so well together. Not to bore you, we know how bad things have been. The last 18 months, not being able to be together as a group has been extraordinarily difficult. I feel so sorry for the small businesses that went out of business, the number of people that are unemployed. We lost as an industry $500 billion, and that's a huge amount of money. Worse is the workforce. When you look at the workforce, we basically had 17 million people in the travel industry. As of May, a year ago, we had 8 million people out of work. That's 51% of all the people in our industry out of work. The worst year ever for the Great Depression was 1933, and it was 26% out of work. So literally for our industry, this is 2x the Great Depression. And I wasn't around for it, but I hear it was pretty bad. And the other problem we have is a whole bunch of those people are not back to work yet. If you look at the open jobs that are in America, while we have probably 9-10% of all the employment in the United States, we've got 40% of the unemployment. So it's a really big challenge, and it will continue to be. As far as this meeting, we pulled off something that's just amazing. I know Tori's here somewhere, but Tori Barnes on my team and her team did one of the most amazing things. This is the only association that's done this yet. But now I've got every association executive in America say, how do you do it? Getting that national interest exemption, which basically, Tori said that we thought we'd open up the country around G7 time. And it was all planned that the country was going to open up and, President Biden was going to go and get together with Boris Johnson. They were going to announce that travel between UK and US was going to start. And then Delta variant took off and became a real big problem. So what ended up happening is everything got put off. And now the U.S. has frozen, everything to get people in this country. And so it's called NIE, National Interest Exemption. And it's a Hail Mary long shot, but maybe we can pull it off. So we got to go for it. We have no choice. So what basically happened is we had to prove to the State Department that bringing 300 or 400 folks from the UK, EU, South America, Canada, et cetera, it was not going to in any way change the COVID situation of 360 million people. But not bringing them to the United States was going to vastly change the economic situation for years to come. Because as you know, at IPW, we do about $4 billion in future travel, and that's where all the packages get put together that I see promoted in the magazines here and all that. So that's really the problem. Now, as you look at the landscape of what's gone on in the United States, and a lot of you know this, is leisure travel is really held up everything. Leisure travel has been extremely strong. There are even places, like we live in Florida and D.C., and I try and spend as little time as D.C. as I can these days. But in Florida, they've got a lot of resorts that are doing much better than they did in 2019. California, same thing. So you get some of these. So the leisure business has been phenomenally strong, and now they're making it on rate. The rates are through the roof. I mean, my wife and I were going to go over to Boca Raton Resort, and we're going to go there. And I called the fellow that used to be the president, John Talbert, and I said, John, can you get me a deal? He's now with Blackstone. He said, yeah. He said, I'll talk to the new GM and he'll give you a deal. So his assistant calls me or sends me a note, and she said, we've got you in at $1,140. And I didn't know if that was for the 3 nights or 1 night. And then I found out it was for 1 night. And so I looked up and I said, that can't be. Is that a deal? And then I looked up on the internet and they were getting $2,200 a night. And then the new GM called me, sent me a note. He said, there's a mistake. It's $250. I said, no, because I was trying to think of what excuse could I make that I really didn't want to go to Boca or couldn't go to Boca. But so leisure's held us up very strong. The challenge we have is Willie Sutton used to say when they asked him why rob banks, he said, that's where the money is. And the real money, as we all know, is leisure's phenomenal. and this community is really, the darling of the leisure business. If you look at it, the amount of money they could spend and all that, but business travel, group meetings and conventions, and international is where the money is. Even though that represents probably 20% of the visitors, it's probably 40 to 50% of all the money. So we're working very hard to bring them back. The first thing is to try and get the government to get some common sense. I've never seen anything in my life that is so changing everywhere and makes no sense. You've got Disneyland closed and Disney World has been open for a year and a half. Same company, same food, same rides, same management, same everything, but yet one's closed and just opening now, and the other's been open for a year and a half in the parks in Florida. So, but it's that stuff. You can, if you're a Canadian, I don't know if anyone's here from Canada, if you're in Canada, you can fly here, but you can't drive. I don't know what happens in your car that you get all diseased and can't come across the border. And the other thing that makes no sense whatsoever is we can go to these other countries. We can go to UK, we can go to EU, we can go as of drive or fly into Canada, but yet they can't come here. And I've said to the administration, we say, to the State Department, they said, there's no logic here. We're, as a country, 56% vaccinated as a U.S. country. Travelers, people who go to meetings and travel, are about 75 to 79%, in different surveys, vaccinated. I said, these people you're going to bring in are 100% vaccinated. So you're saying you're not going to be bringing a group that is healthier than your community into your community, but that's what's going on. So we're looking to see if we can get this open, hopefully some test cases of, as far as not COVID cases, but test cases, countries, we can get open and start people coming here. And this is one of the most important things of why here with IPW is this is the opportunity for people to go back everywhere and say, I was in Las Vegas, I was at a meeting, I was at Thrive, and guess what? People were not falling over with COVID or Delta variant or whatever. The meetings, they had all the protocols, they took care of it. And we've got to start this work. We've got to start all talking about how important it is. International, bring back international. Thank God we've got a lot of technology we have these days, and I think that's going to be very helpful. Our world has changed as it will, the new normal, whatever that might be, is now technology. A lot of the food handling practices, a lot of your smartphone is becoming your key, becoming your ID and everything, and all those things I think are going to stay and be good. But the real opportunity, I think this is going to come back stronger than any of us ever thought. All the economists I talk to, or we talk to or hear from, they're saying 24, 25. 2024, 2025 is when business travel and international will come back. I think it's going to come back much faster. Here's why. When we had September 11th happen, they were saying that no one would ever get on a plane and cross the ocean again, too dangerous, terrorists. Well, that was followed by 15, 18 years of the biggest growth ever in international travel, the greatest boon of airlines going back and forth ever. When 2008, when the financial crisis hit, the recession, the headlines, I don't know if you recall, were 30 to 40% of hotels in America never to open up again, to become condos or apartment buildings because people are not going to travel again. And they were both totally wrong. They snapped back faster than ever, and I think when it happens, when it comes to, I say, leisure's been the darling and living on leisure, but it's starting to tail off a bit. It's starting to tail off because kids are going back to school, and we've got to bring back business travel. When it comes to business travel, we've got a couple of enemies, and or people are going to oppose this thing. The first one is the corporate CFO. The corporate CFO is saying at meetings, look at the numbers. Our people haven't traveled, they haven't gone to a meeting in 18 months, and our profits are better than they've ever been. Maybe they shouldn't be on the road. And they got the general counsel who chimes in and says, why do we want to tell people to travel? What if one of them gets sick? And what if they come back and sue us for making them go on the trip? Maybe we should just hold off a while and follow everyone else. And then the last part is friends and family saying, and I'm sure someone asked you going to Vegas? Are you sure you want to go to Vegas? With all those people? And that's what's happening. We had Esto in LA, and one of the tourism directors from one of the cities was coming in, he had a CVS bag. I said, oh, you forgot all your toiletries? He goes, no. My wife said I have to have 2 negative COVID tests before I'm allowed to come home. And, but that's, and we had that meeting, we had 700 people there, and we had one person One person tested positive for COVID, and it was basically a day of arrival. So he came with it. It didn't, and we had that. And I've been to meetings, about 7 or 8 meetings of probably 700 to the biggest is 2,000. That was just in Tampa. Thank you. Thank you very much, Will. I appreciate that. But 2,000 people, same thing, no problem. So I think it's so important to bring this industry back. I think as we come back, we've got to really think about how we reinvent the industry. What are we doing for the future transportation? What are we doing for electrification? What are we doing for our infrastructure? What are we doing for biometrics and all of those things? And we've got to bring this thing back bigger than ever, and then together we're going to write the chapter of what's next. So I want to thank you for being here. I want to thank you, Will, and your team for putting this together, and just thanks for being here, and it's going to be a great event, and having us two together is going to be great, and I'll see you all week, but then I'll see you in Orlando next year. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot. I sure appreciate it. Thank you.